Supervillains seem to love destroying the world, despite it meaning destroying themselves. And while most of the time they lose because, no world means no future plot, sometimes they actually complete their goal, and those instances are what we're exploring today. Greetings Nerd Squad and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. I'm Connor Monroe and this is the top 10 most powerful villains who destroy the world. Let's do it. In at 10, Damien Darhk. Okay, so while not actually destroying the world, if Damien Darhk from Arrow Season 4 didn't have to be defeated for the plot, he would have very well accomplished his goal. The goal being to get all of his loved ones and some savvy investors into a climate-controlled bubble underneath Star City and live there while the world recovers from him launching every single nuke in the world at once using the Rubicon program from Argus. He had obtained the program and launched all the nukes, however Team Arrow, and more specifically Felicity and Curtis, were able to shut down most of them. The deaths from all over the world would have also given Damien immense power, basically making him immortal. His philosophy was that humanity cannot be saved and that the world in fact required a reset in order to save it. And honestly, I think he's probably right. The world is in desperate need of saving, and I'm all for wiping out the entire human race. I'm okay, I swear. And at 9, Nekron. The Blackest Night storyline is probably one of my favorite DC Comics events, with a whole slew of heroes being, for lack of a better term, resurrected using the powers of the Black Lantern rings. Nekron is DC's embodiment of death in a sense, at least if you're not a speedster, and he wanted to eliminate all life in the universe, because like I said, that's what all great villains want, right? Like, what's the point of wiping out the universe? Like, what are you gonna do then? Do all villains just want to die? Like, at least Damien Darhk had a plan on how to keep himself and his family alive. Why would someone want to destroy everything and everyone, including themselves, or leave like nowhere for them to actually rule over? It just makes no sense to me. Like, if there are no living people and they're all just Black Lanterns under your control, would you really feel like you're in charge? I mean, would you really be having fun? Part of the fun of being the villain is having people to kill or control or subject or whatever you want to do, right? It doesn't make sense to me. Either way, Nekron got pretty damn close to seizing control of the universe since, he raised heroes like Superman from the grave. If the White Lanterns didn't exist, he would have won. Let's be honest. And it ain't Annihilus. Annihilus is an interdimensional insectoid conqueror and tyrant hailing from the Negative Zone, a pocket dimension located on Earth 616. When Annihilus discovered the opposing force, the Negative Zone's counterpart, the Power Cosmic, after years of long failed conquests, he finally had the power to fulfill his dreams. With an entity named Ravenous, who at the time wielded this power, he invaded the positive matter universe through a portal known as the Crunch. Many worlds and many heroes fell before his Annihilation Wave. The Annihilation Wave was Annihilus's interdimensional invading force. It was an incredibly powerful force which laid waste to galaxies, slaughtered numerous worlds, and captured or killed cosmic beings. So yeah. And Annihilus came close to accomplishing his goal as well, even taking several Galactus heads. Just heads of multiple versions of Galactus. However, he was ultimately unsuccessful, but he came even closer to winning and destroying reality in the What If Annihilation story, which I hope we get to see a version of in the Disney Plus series since it takes place shortly after Civil War. And it's 7, Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash in the season premiere of The Flash Season 3 may not have obliterated the world, but he did end up destroying the world that we knew for the CW verse, and ended up changing the timeline so much that it even affected characters in other shows. In the Season 2 finale, Barry decides to go back in time to save his mother, similar to the Flashpoint storyline. However, this time, Wally is the Flash, and Barry isn't. However, he starts losing his speed and his memory of an old life, which he thinks is a bad thing. Like, bro, I would give anything to forget my trauma, are you joking? Sorry for me not understanding why you don't want to remember your parents dying, but okay. So he lets Reverse Flash go so that he can set the timeline back. However, unlike in the animated movie, Barry doesn't get stopped in the time stream. Instead, he waits until it's all played out and then boom, kills her after he was originally supposed to, creating a whole new timeline, somehow. Where Joe and Iris don't talk, Cisco's brother is dead, and John Diggle has a son named John Diggle Jr. instead of his daughter Sarah, who he had named after Sarah Lance when she died in Arrow Season 3. So he destroyed the Arrowverse timeline we knew, and that's why he's only at number 7. It's very rare for someone to actually destroy the world, because, what else would there be? And in 6, Aquaman and Wonder Woman. Oh, look at that! I managed to squeeze 2 Flashpoint numbers into this list, hell yeah. In the animated movie The Flashpoint Paradox in the DC animated universe, the world is so much different to its CW counterpart. Mostly due to the war between Aquaman and Wonder Woman, who ended up being the villains of this movie, thanks to them being former lovers while Aquaman was married to Mira, who Wonder Woman then killed when Mira tried to get revenge. But to be fair, she also wears Mira's crown, so it's not really like, oh, it was self-defense. However, this war resulted in the destruction of the planet at the literal moment Barry was able to get enough speed to go back into Speed Force. It was a suspenseful moment where Reverse Flash had just been killed by Batman, so Barry could have enough speed to run back and stop himself from saving his mother. I mean, he managed to get into the Speed Force before the world's destruction caught up with him, but the world was still destroyed, so it's good enough for me. Halfway through and in number 5, the Night King. Oh, what's that? A non-comic villain? Hell yeah it is. The Night King is in essence the big bad evil guy of Game of Thrones. Sure, there's the Game of Thrones that they're playing like chess combined with Risk, but come on, the Night King was the whole first half of the final season. The Night King was the master of the first White Walkers, having existed since the age of the first men. He was also the supreme leader of the army of the dead, because, you know, love that. The Night King was the first man who was captured by a tribe of children of the forest. Leaf, who was amongst the group, pressed a dragon glass dagger into his chest, causing his eyes to turn blue and turning him into the first of the White Walkers. However, the White Walkers soon turn on their creators and become the ruthless rulers of the land beyond the wall. Nobody believes that they exist, and those who see them rarely live to tell the tale. However, come season 8, spoiler alert for the rest of this number now, the worst of all seasons, the Night King finally makes his play on Westeros, and honestly, he should have absolutely won. If George R.R. Martin had really been writing these final scripts, the Night King would have won, and honestly, I think that's probably the way that the books are gonna go when/if the final one's completed, because you know, it's George, he's gonna have the bad guy win. In the show, he gets killed by Arya Stark, which should absolutely not have happened, but hey, girl power. I still wanted to see him win though. He should have won. He would have won. In at 4, Thanos. While he may have only wiped out half the universe, Thanos is certainly a guy who destroyed the world. It's not in a literal sense, but wiping out half the population does kinda destroy the world in a more figurative sense. We see it even after 5 years later in the MCU. The world still misses half the population. Everyone lost someone, and that's the drive that causes the heroes to fight back and bring everyone back even after 5 years. I mean, the Avengers literally risked their lives traveling through the quantum realm and time in order to save everyone. Save the billions of people that Thanos destroyed, and honestly, that's why he's on this list. He destroyed the planet by destroying half of life. Sure, he was partially right and the Earth was starting to heal itself, but the people weren't, and I don't think that little bit of good that is coming from that really matters when everyone has lost someone they love. It's pretty damn insane. And not only that, but the world is also destroyed when everyone gets brought back. And while yes, the Avengers are the ones who did the whole resurrection thing, it's Thanos who made it required, who made everyone miserable, and even 5 years later, people still can't get through a date without crying. So, yeah, it's Thanos' fault. And at 3, Surtur. Surtur's purpose was to destroy the world, or I guess technically destroy Asgard, which is a world. Surtur was a significant figure in the prophecy of Ragnarok, as the one who would initiate the fall of Asgard. Seeking to prevent this prophecy though, Odin defeated Surtur thousands of years ago, like 500,000, taking the source of his power, the eternal flame, back to Asgard, and confining Surtur to his own realm, where he remained for over 5,000 years. After Odin went missing following the second Dark Elf conflict though, a weakened Surtur intended to finally start Ragnarok, only to be defeated and killed by Thor. Despite this, Thor realized that Ragnarok had to happen to stop Hela, so Loki resurrected him with the eternal flame and used him to defeat Hela and destroying Asgard. The fire demon obviously fulfilled his prophecy and destroyed Asgard along with Hela and himself in the process. At least this is realistic. At least Surtur knows that he's gonna die when he destroys the world. So I mean, like, he did actually destroy a world. Like, he destroyed one of the realms, so he fulfilled the prophecy. So hell yeah, I'm including him on this list. I love a man who's willing to go down with his cause. Penultimately, in at number 2, Abraxas. Abraxas is in essence the embodiment of destruction in the Marvel Universe. This guy wanted to destroy the multiverse and everyone in it just for funsies. When the Galactus of the Prime Reality died, Abraxas soon began to just cut through various alternate realities. He also killed off other versions of the Galactus because, you know, he could. Abraxas used the head of one of these Galactuses. Galactus? Galacti? I actually think Galacti sounds better, because Galactus sounds like cactus. Anyway, he used this head to home in on the main continuity's Earth and to plant a mole in the form of an alternate universe version of Harold Nova, who was dead in their reality. On Earth though, Abraxas attacked the Watcher and stole half of his signature medallion. Abraxas then taunted the Fantastic Four with the inevitability of his arrival, enticing them to search for the ultimate nullifier, which he was actually looking for. The clues to the location of which were scattered among realities. The Fantastic Four actually did find the ultimate nullifier, and then Abraxas showed up and stole it from them, because that's what he wanted all along. Using this nullifier, Abraxas was going to wipe out reality, and honestly, if it worked for plot and basically the godchild that is Franklin Richards, he would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for you meddling kids and your damn sister. Finally, in at number 1, the Anti-Monitor. The Anti-Monitor is probably the most successful villain on this list and maybe ever when it comes to destroying the world. The Anti-Monitor ended up destroying all worlds pretty much. The purpose of the Crisis on Infinite Earths event that the Anti-Monitor was created for was to get rid of the DC multiverse in the comics and squeeze everyone down to one world. And the purpose remained largely the same for the CW crossover of the same name, even if it was also to kill off Oliver Queen. But the Anti-Monitor, while not successful in his goal of replacing that universe with the Antimatter universe, did destroy basically infinite Earths. Like, if we think about it, there are infinite Earths in that multiverse, meaning that the Anti-Monitor somehow destroyed infinity, which is frickin' nuts. In the CW crossover, he literally destroyed every single Earth, including Earth 1. So this guy, or alien, or whatever they are, ended up actually destroying infinity. Like, what does that even mean? Can we even quantify that? It should be impossible. Technically, there also should be Earths that the Anti-Monitor can't touch, because if there's one Earth that the antimatter wave hits, technically, going off the many worlds theory, there should be another Earth where the antimatter wave doesn't touch it. So forget the Flashpoint paradox, try the Anti-Monitor paradox. There you go. There we have it, friends, the top 10 most powerful villains who destroyed the world, or came close, because let's be honest, if they destroyed the world there wouldn't be any more comics, so nobody can really destroy the world. Who do you think should have actually won on this list, and who did I miss? Be sure you let me know down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shower Main Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.